Hello and welcome back to our problem number 6. Now this is today we are solving a classic interview question that is often being asked in the QA interview rounds. So let's say you're given a problem in an interview and the interviewer says, find find the first most repeated character in this string. So S is coming 3 times. We got U, which is coming once. We got C coming twice. And we got E coming once. That's it. Okay. So now if you want to find, so which one is the most repeated character based on the count, it is S. But if you pay attention to the question is to find the first most repeated character from the text. Now, if you see the first character, and let's say if S is 3 and C is also 3 for some reason, so now we have a tie. So in that case, we select the first character that appeared in the text. Okay, before we start coding, let's look at our flowchart to understand the logic. Now, if you look at the flowchart, we are given, I've taken the same input string called success, and we are basically dividing them into 2 steps. And this is how we're going to solve this. Step 1 is where we count the occurrence of each character from the text using dictionary. So for those who don't know, dictionary holds key and value pairs. Key would be our character, which is S, U, C, and E. These are the characters. And the value is the count. Okay. So we are basically storing this data in this dictionary. So this is our first step. Next would be step 2. Find the max. Basically to pick the character which comes the most number of times. For that, we will iterate through the string to maintain the first occurrence rule. So again, iterate through the string. Once we will iterate step 1, then we'll iterate again in step 2, this time to find the most frequent character. And then once we have it, we will return that character. Now, let's go to the Visual Studio and start coding. See how it's going to look like. So let's say we got public static. This will be a character returnable function. I'm keeping the name as find most frequent char, which accepts a string. Now, first and foremost, we do string null check, which means a string should not be empty. If it is, we return a argument that says string cannot be empty. This is supposed to be throw. And that should be it. Now we move on to the first step, which is to create a dictionary, character and integer. We will name it count. That should be it. It's time to create a for loop to basically count occurrence of each character in the given text. This would be if, let's say, dictionary contains the character we increase the count, else, so if it's a new character, you simply add it to the dictionary. It's time for our next step to find the maximum from the count. And for that, you need a max variable of integer, and we would also need a most frequent char default to the first. Now we start our for loop. Let's say we are iterating over the text one more time. This time, if max number is less than count of C, you're assigned that to max, and the most frequent character will be changed to C. And this should be it. And finally, we return the most frequent character and we save it. We go to test class. I'm going to ask Copilot to basically generate 10 unit tests to validate my function. Okay, let's quickly see what we got. So we have a single character. We have all the same characters. A should return A. Now we got our example here, success. Oh, I think there is a problem here. Should be equal to S, not C. Maybe Copilot did not understand the context of our method, or it's just hallucinated. It happens. Clear winner. We got a B, B, B. So yeah, it should be B. Say got mixed. Triple A, triple A. This should be capital A. We got should be space. Okay. So it should be exclamation. Okay. We got empty string. Null string. Then long string returns character array. We got a long string. Got x 100 times, y 150 times, z 50 times. So clearly the answer should be y. Let's quickly run the test. Okay, so all has passed. Looks like code is efficient and it works. So good job on that. And now it's time for the boss moment, because I'm going to remove all this code, line of code. Just going to keep the null check in place to handle the edge cases. And we will just convert this to a single line where we are basically grouping all the characters, ordering them based on their count. And finally, return the first most repeated character. And let me save it. Now this is the link queue approach if you don't know. As you can see here, I already used this link queue library. This is the one line. That's all you need to solve this problem. Now this is great for interviews if you want to impress your interviewer or if you're in a time crunch. But let's see if it works. I'm going to clear the results. I'm going to run it again. Perfect. All has passed. It looks like this approach worked. So yeah, doesn't matter which approach you use. Basically, you should know the idea behind that approach. And thank you so much for follow along. And I want to leave you with one story about a stonecutter that I remember. So this story is about a stonecutter who basically has a hammer and a chisel, and he start hitting the stone to basically cut it. And for the 100 times, the rock doesn't crack open. But on the 101st blow, the rock starts to crack open. But we know that it wasn't that 101st blow, it was the 100 blows before that made that rock split. So coding is just like that. Some days you'll feel like you're not making any progress, where you would, spend hours after debugging a very simple logical problem, or a semicolon error. But I want to remind you that those failed messages and those error messages are the strikes. They're building your muscle memory of the logic. So I want to encourage you to start to change your perception and start looking at the strikes and not at the cracks. So keep coding, keep building, and I'll see you in the next one.